Okay, Dad, now that I know a little bit more about what you're looking for, I can actually sit here and set up a tutorial video for you using Microsoft Word. This is going to give you a few more options than the one through Preview. Again, as noted earlier, I've shown you Jennifer Garner. This is very nice. It should help you focus, but don't watch the girl too much. We actually do have to get some work done. Alright, to start things off, I have everything for this project so far that I've done in a folder. You can see here. Yours may look a little bit different than mine. Again, it's partially OS Lion, and then there's also a good part that I have a custom version of Finder. Either way, you want to open up this document, which I have emailed to you, and is the Weber Word template. Okay. When you open it up, you'll see that you have the exact same background as you did from the original JPEG that you sent me, which is here. Okay, as you can see, it's the same thing. Let's close this out because right now we don't need it. The first thing that you wanted to be able to do was to insert images into this. From this template, you can literally just click and drag the image that you want right in here. Let's close this out so we won't need it anymore. Okay, from here, you want to click back into Word, click on the image. When you click on the image correctly, you will see that the dots around the image for moving, shaping, and resizing have come up. The benefit to using Word over Preview for this case is that when you do the corner drags, it keeps everything proportional. And things aren't going to look squished tall or squished down and fat. From here, the next thing you want to do is you want to right-click. Okay, if right-click is enabled on your Mac, when you do so, you will see this menu. If it's not enabled, this menu won't come up, but you can simply hold down the Option key and click anywhere, and this menu will come up. The first thing that we need to do is go to Wrap Text and put through, and then we have to do it again. Right-click, bring to front. Okay, now we can resize this image a little bit. It's really not that big this time. Just make it a little bit smaller so it fits in all the margins. Okay, and then from here we can click and drag it to an appropriate spot. This looks fairly centered to me. From here, you want to click outside of the document, which would deselect it. Everything's going to look blue. And then you want to click up in this upper right hand corner. You'll know if you did this correctly, but when you see the blinking cursor. Okay, the next thing that you wanted to be able to do was to have arrows. The first thing to do for that is going to be to go over to the Insert menu at the top and go down and click Shape. When you click Shape, this menu appears. I'm going to move it over so you can see Jennifer Garner. Okay, you have an enormous amount of options at this point. You have lightning bolts, smiley faces, hearts, questionable clouds. You have arrows. There are large arrows, there are multiple headed arrows, there are turned arrows. You get the point. For this, we're going to use a simple arrow. I'm just going to click here. How the arrow tool works is you click and drag. Okay, the arrow will point towards where you drag. So the head of the arrow will be where you finish. So I will start here, for example, and then I will click and drag, let's say, towards this star right here. Okay. From here, you have, again, the same resize dots that you did with the image. You can make the arrow longer if you want. You can also change where the direction is for the arrow. You can make it shorter. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Now, you also want to be able to add text, but before we do that, I've noticed that this color blue doesn't quite match up with what's going on here, and in my opinion, looks a little bit unprofessional. What you want to do here is, again, you want to right-click, and if you don't have right-click enabled, you can click Option Click as well, and then you want to go down to Format Shape. From here, if it's not at this menu already, you want to click Line, and then here's where you see that color. You can click this, and you can choose whichever you want. I would suggest black or some form of gray to match this background here. Press OK when you're done, and as you can see, the arrow is now black. The final step for this is that you wanted to put in text. In order to put text anywhere on here, you actually have to make a text box instead of just typing, which you would standard if you were using a normal Word document. Again, we're going to go up to Insert, and then we're going to go down to Text Box. From here, you click and drag where you want the text, and then you type away. You can also select this text if you want to. You can make it bigger. You can change the font if you choose to. You can also rotate the text by clicking on the little green knob. You don't have to do this. Personally, I think that looks unprofessional. Either way, to my knowledge, these were all of the things that you needed to be able to do with this document. Before you finish up, before you close anything out, remember, in order to save this, you have to go to File, and Save As, not Save. Save As will allow you to make a new file. In this case, we'll call this Dad's Example. And then click Save. If you just click Save initially, this one, then you're going to wind up overriding the template. If you do override the template, I do have this stored online and can send it to you again. If you have any questions, let me know.